Good. Yes, yes, yes. It's super exciting having another special guest for our wonderful program, Gunner's Voice, Mr. Praise Ayodele, one of the rarest or fewest fans of Man City that I have seen in my lifetime. Thank
Yo,
you for finding time to make it here, right? Thank you for finding time. Let's not even go into history if you were a fan of a previous club before, because
exactly.
I've heard rumors that most of Man City fans were either Man U fans or Arsenal fans before, but let's not go there. I want you to tell me what you think about the Arsenal Man City game. It ended 1-1, but please give us your verdict.
So, I think we came for what we got. It could have been better if we had taken the win away. That would have been perfect. We didn't come to attack. We didn't come to attack. We- Right about now, Arsenal, Man City are not on the same level. Man City is struggling. They're looking for form so bad. We've had a couple wins, which we are grateful for, but nothing like what Arsenal is doing. If Arsenal can, we knew Arsenal had the firepower, the bench. They are coordinated, they are motivated. I can't say the same for Man City right now. Um, for statistics' sake, we had possession of 38%. That is the lowest possession ever in the history of Man City being coached by Guardiola. We also had 8 touches in Arsenal box throughout the game. That should tell you something that we didn't come to win per se. We came to continue. And as God would have it, we had the first quick goal thanks to Lance, and the idea was to contain. How we managed to, you know, not keep that, compactness together is something that is quite disappointing. But again, we didn't come to win. But at the same time, it also gives reference and credits back to us now for being persistent. We lost a bit of focus in the dying minutes because again, 90 plus 7 minutes. Then you consider going is it 92 or 93? Now, you can, if you're playing as champions, the way Man City has always been, you cannot consider like that. That is number one. Number two, the pass that was made over to Martinelli. First of all, incredible talent with Martinelli because lobbing that ball without even looking, that's some skill that we have to give credit for. But the defender that was marking him, our back line was just distracted, obviously. And secondly, we you guys had I mean, from a Man City that is all out attack, that is an attack minded team or attack minded club. Um, Today by the side was also very disappointing because we couldn't control it, we couldn't keep the ball. Every chance we had, it was us making some very wrong passes from Bernardo, being indecisive to Doku just being locked up and was unable to free himself to all of this accumulated to the final third of the numbers that we were talking about. 38% possession, 8 touches in the box. Whatever happened today, I hope it never happens again. Because if it happens again and again, then we'll just end up in Manchester United, and God knows that's why I don't have a big deal, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Aqua
we'll just end up
Flow.
in Manchester.
Yeah, Aqua Flow. No, he's a Man City fan. It's fine.
Yeah,
So I like the way you broke down everything and you were going with statistics. And with statistics, that's really good. But I could also tell you that Man City have done a fairly good job. I think you guys are probably the first team to have faced Arsenal to have had about 11 of Arsenal's corners to defend without conceding to one. So credit to
Mm,
Guardiola on that because I noticed that you guys did a very good job with the defense. You have a prolific defense and you also have a prolific goalkeeper, right? Because Arsenal had a lot of attacks, but if you look at it at the end of the day, because of your defense, we probably had the same number of shots on target with Man City, which is about three, but the number of shots
yeah.
that we had was massive, was massive. And let's not also forget the fact that right now, Arteta is the first manager to have gone against Guardiola that has gotten a record of five back-to-back unbeaten runs, right?
Yeah.
Which is massive, right? There's no other coach that can actually speak to that. But as an Arsenal fan, personally, I'm disappointed because coming into this match, I was super confident. Like, I didn't see Man City beating us anyway. Like, literally, there was no, even in my sleep, I'm like, they're gonna get it because it's Arsenal's home. But you guys were able to play outstandingly well. Um, the follow-up question I have for you is, what advice would you have for Arteta in terms of improving your game, being better, and raising the hopes for Arsenal to actually win the league?
I think that it comes from very okay, from a massive fan. I don't have any advice, but from a football fan, um, Arsenal has everything they need right now. They have the firepower. You guys have some very fantastic midfielders playing for you right now, and I think you guys bought two wild cards that can change the entirety of your campaign if they don't get injured. Nonimado Ike and Eze. You know, they are such incredible wild cards that can transform everything else. And that's number one. Number two is that you guys have literally everything you need. It's just the mentality that can sustain what you're building. As regards the attack, to be honest, I don't see anything that is wrong with Arsenal right now. I think only Arsenal can go head to head with Liverpool. You have everything it takes. If you don't win the league this time, it's just the mentality, and you can't train mentality. If it's not there, it's not there. Liverpool have tasted victory even before Slot came in, and so I think that's what is still sustaining them to keep going on. That's number one, and number two would be that you just have to want it more than every other person, because I mean Arsenal is Arsenal is good. I hate to admit it, but you guys right now will beat any team in the world, like any team in the world. But again, you guys start on a very high note, but at some point in time, it feels like you just stop desiring it enough, and that's where you have teams like Liverpool, just edging you by a bit. But to be honest, this season is still open up. Like there's still so much to expect and hope for. So we'll see.
So with our performance today, do you think we're going to be able to beat Newcastle?
Absolutely, absolutely. Newcastle, as they are still um, finding balance. They deserve credit for what they've been able to do in the last 3 years under Eddie. But compared to Arsenal, nah, they stand no chance. And losing Isak was a big blow for Newcastle. They are still trying to get their reading, because I mean they're a excellent group of players, but Arsenal's quality is impeccable. We've got to give you guys credit. You guys have been building for the last 3-4 years, and you're like, if you don't win the league this time, I just think that it's gonna be all your fault, not anything else, because you built so well. You've had a patient board. Arsenal didn't used to spend. You guys opened your war chest and went all out. But Gyökeres, Noni Madueke for 50 plus mil, Eze as well, Zubimendi. That is not an Arsenal style transfer season. Arsenal is always very reluctant to put out their guns. But this time, it's a show of statement that we want this more than ever before. And so if that doesn't happen, there's only one person to blame. And it's not the board, it's not the fans like you, it's the team and the coach.
I like that. I like the part when he said Arsenal actually came out to their guns. Gunners came out to their guns, and this is Gunner's
Yeah.
voice. My next question is not actually for you, Praise. It's for my fellow host, MC Olu. MC Olu, I want you to answer if this was a fluke or genius by Arteta, because this is the second time He's bringing in Martinelli, and Martinelli is making the impact. Do you think it's a fluke or genius?
I think it's genius, but I agree that that's why we have the bench that we have so that we can bring on quality to change the game and like, make some, make a difference in our game. But the only issue I had was with the starting lineup. I don't see no reason why Trossard was starting the game, and he provided he has quality. He's a decent player. He's a not decent. He's a good player. But I don't see him starting the game was really naive for me. That was like a tactical error in my own for my thoughts, like he should have gone with even Martinelli to start the game and then Trossard to come in later, just because I know that it was kind of like building like an element of surprise for Pep, so that Pep is like kind of confused. But you still have Saka on the bench, you still have Waneri on the bench, and with the quality of Easy, by the time everybody has been saying this, and this is the problem with with him is like he sometimes he gets it really really wrong, and sometimes when he gets it, it's nice, but I don't think that if you keep doing this, we're gonna win the league. I don't think so.
Mm.
Now I'll move on to praise. Praise, do you think MCLO is a bit harsh with his verdicts, considering the fact that Trossard did outstandingly well in the last game during the Champions League with a goal and an assist? Do you think he was actually worth starting the first 11?
So most it's two perspective. Number one, Ateta is coached by Guardiola, was mentored by Guardiola. That is something Guardiola would do too, and it's something that has cost Guardiola a lot as well. And I'll track back to the Man City Chelsea final, starting John Stones in the midfield when you had other bright midfield options. It's similar to what just happened today, but I also don't think that I thought Trossard earned his place as well. So it's now it's up to the coach to decide who I need to fire down. Trossard had a very decent performance today, very decent, and but we don't know if the other person that could have played, maybe Eze or who could have started on that wing, even Martinelli could have had a performance like that. So again, it all boils down to the coach, the trusts, and the consistency that the player might have been able to reproduce in the week. Champions League goal and assist is not beans. It's it needs to be rewarded. And for a team, for a star-studded um, team like that, it is important to keep everybody motivated. That if you perform in and out, you earn your startup. And I think that should be enforced across teams to keep the standard of excellence.
Okay, I like that, and I totally agree with you. You always want to reward good work and hard work. Now, talking about the goal, there are two versions or there are two stories. And when I say the goal, Haaland's goal, there's a version or a side of the story that blames Gabriel for that goal, that he actually missed an opportunity to stop Haaland and he did not have the pace to cover Haaland. Now, there's also the version that says Saliba, when tracking back, should have moved towards his left to cover Haaland's run.
Mm,
Because the Man City player that gave Haaland the pass, if he was going to shoot from there, it was going to be a waste. But Saliba saw Haaland's run, should have moved to cover that space, and that would have been better defending,
mm.
right? So, who do you support? Who do you think is accurate? What is your narrative to how the Arsenal defense should have been better with covering that opportunity by Man City?
So two things. Number one, the guy that laid the pass to Alan Tijani. Tijani is literally one of the most unpredictable players you can ever watch. Where you expect him to lay passes, he shoots. So if he shot from that place, I mean, I believe Alan has a better chance than to convert, and thank God we did. That's number one. Number two is Haaland is one of the most difficult players to mark. He's got the power, he's got the pace, and lately he has been showing some footwork, that you cannot argue with, especially against was it Manchester United we played with? Yeah, his footwork was incredible. It was incredible. I was like, what's going on here? This is not your style.
Yeah.
But you know, and I like to believe that when you're marking a player of world class quality like Alan, anything will go wrong. Anything will go wrong, and you have to expect the unexpected. And I think that's where the defenders, I mean, you're not talking about this is Arsenal's defense line, a supposed title winning or potentially title competing defense line. You should anticipate the unexpected. Don't get taken by surprise by even the best players in the world, especially if you're competing for the brightest prizes. So let's give credit to Alan for pulling that off, even in that tight space. But also let's extend grace to a defense that has been consistent. Compared to the number of goals considered at this point in last season, I think they're doing pretty well right now.
Okay, I definitely hope so. Let me see. It's from MCOLO and MCOGB. It's a very big thank you to you, Praise. It's wonderful having you here on Gunner's Voice. We look forward to hosting you in the future when Arsenal goes to Man City's home and defeats Man City. Yes, definitely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Do have a wonderful one.
Yeah.